The hospital corridors were sterile, bright, and blinding, but the world around Maya felt like a storm. Her husband, Darius, had been acting strange for weeks. Late nights, hushed phone calls, and that sharp, unreadable look in his eyes. She thought it was stress, work pressures, but now, rushing down the white hall toward the operating room, dread had replaced love. The nurse, a middle-aged woman with tired eyes, grabbed her arm. "Hide, it's a trap," she whispered urgently, glancing down the hall. He's not who you think he is." Maya froze. The word trap echoed in her skull as she crept behind the supply closet, heart hammering. Her husband, the man she had married for love, the man who promised to protect her, emerged from the shadows in scrubs that didn't belong to him. He wasn't alone. 2 other men flanked him, their faces cold, professional, almost predatory. He looked satisfied. A cruel smile tugged at the corner of his lips. "Maya," he said softly, as if the word could soften the terror in his eyes. But it didn't. She realized then that he had orchestrated something against her family, something she couldn't yet understand but would cost someone dearly. And her mind raced, not with fear but with calculation. She had loved blindly, she had trusted him, and that trust had just become a weapon against her. When he stepped closer, she could see it, the arrogance, the entitlement, the absolute belief that he had outsmarted her. It was humiliating, paralyzing, a betrayal that cut deeper than any blade. Her chest heaved. She had 2 choices: run and stay a victim, or stay and turn this moment into the beginning of a revenge she had only dreamed of. And as he leaned down, whispering something about a final procedure, the fury ignited. She wasn't going to cry, she wasn't going to beg. She was going to make him regret every deceitful lie, every stolen smile, every time he made her feel powerless. Maya watched from behind the metal cart, hidden in the sterile shadows. Darius moved confidently, like a king surveying his conquered kingdom, giving instructions, laughing lightly at a joke only he knew. The humiliation of seeing him so sure of his power was sharp, piercing. She remembered the nights he made her feel small, his dismissive tone when she suggested ideas, his condescending smile whenever she spoke with authority. Now, in this hospital room, she was the one who truly understood the stakes, and he didn't. Through the observation window, she noticed the files he had left carelessly on the counter. Medical records, financial transfers, schedules, all evidence of a scheme she had only suspected. He had planned to manipulate the system, siphon money from her family's trust, and humiliate her by taking credit for her late father's medical breakthroughs. Maya's hands clenched. Every detail, every smirk, every subtle act of control. He had thought she was blind, but now she had all the power. Slowly, she accessed the computer in the nurse's station, transferring confidential data to a hidden drive. Every click was a calculated strike, every moment a step toward turning his world upside down. And then, the final humiliation. She changed the operating room schedule, ensuring Darius would walk in on a procedure gone live, an embarrassing public spectacle in front of the board and hospital staff. His arrogance, his belief that he could control every outcome, was about to become his undoing. Darius stormed into the operating room, only to find chaos. The monitors flashed red, the patient's charts were mismatched, and nurses whispered urgently. His confidence wavered. Maya, watching remotely, felt the intoxicating rush of control. She had spent weeks planning this, studying his routines, knowing exactly how he would react. And now, the man who had humiliated her, who had manipulated her life, was powerless in front of colleagues, in front of witnesses. He tried to assert authority, shouting commands, attempting to restore order. But every move he made only worsened the chaos. The evidence she had planted in the system, financial anomalies, schedule conflicts, and altered patient files, exposed him to every senior official in real time. The humiliation was exquisite. Darius's face, once full of arrogance, twisted with confusion and panic. Staff exchanged knowing glances. Whispers of betrayal filled the room. The balance of power had shifted entirely. Maya allowed herself a small smile, heart hammering. The man who once made her feel insignificant now hung by the thread of his own hubris, exposed for the world to see. The final act was as precise as a scalpel. Maya entered the operating room under the guise of concern, dressed in her professional attire, calm, composed. Darius froze. She met his gaze, ice cold. "You thought you could use everyone around you, even me, for your gain," she said softly, "but the world isn't yours to manipulate." With one move, she presented the evidence she had collected to the hospital board and senior staff. Financial fraud, patient negligence, falsified reports, everything meticulously documented. The man who had once held all power now had none. Darius tried to argue, tried to charm, tried to bluff. Every attempt failed. Every lie unraveled in front of the people who mattered. His reputation, career, and ego were shattered. The final humiliation, security escorted him out, the same nurses and colleagues he had controlled now staring with silent contempt. Maya watched, victorious but composed. She didn't shout, didn't cry, didn't celebrate. She let the scene speak for itself. The man who had made her feel powerless had been outsmarted, humiliated, and exposed. And as she walked away, she felt the sweet, bitter satisfaction of revenge complete. She had turned betrayal into power, humiliation into triumph, and pain into poetic justice.